Man, can't see a thing in here. We gotta clear out. Where's the exit at?
Beg your pardon? You can't see a thing, and neither can Samus? Sakamoto, let me show you something that you may have neglected to notice, which at this point really doesn't surprise me.
This is Samus when she first lands on Zebes in Super Metroid. You may notice something about her visor. It's blinking a whitish yellow. This is night vision or some sort of assisted optics to help her see in the dark. Think about it. If you were a bounty hunter going around alien caves, many of which have never even been touched by light, wouldn't you want to be able to see where you were going? Fucking really?
Another search segment? I mean, I hate to beat a dead horse here, but if there were a huge monster floating around in a dark room and you couldn't see anything, would you really stop to look around for a minute?
The thing that's so offensive about this is that it goes back to the battle with Barney on crack. For narrative purposes, an animal with a clear tactical advantage over its prey doesn't attack. Why?
If you were an animal and your potential prey couldn't see you, couldn't find an exit, and were fixed in one spot, wouldn't you take every opportunity to kill them and use this territorial advantage in your favor?
But I guess it's okay because it's designed to make Ridley's reveal cooler, which is actually kind of cool. Ridley, spoiler alert, flies around draped in shadow and you can only get quick little glimpses of him flying by. And then he dodges fireballs but can't see where he's attacking from until Samus blows the caps off the lava, and then he flies up and it's like, aw shit, Ridley's back and he means business.
But don't get too excited because I'm going to talk about why this is really unnecessary later on. But first, this.
Well, only one thing to do, huh? Let's tear this thing up.
Yeah, another actually good idea from Anthony Higgs.
Wait, Anthony, leave this one to me. Don't waste your plasma.
Then Samus gets PTSD and Ridley grabs her and rapes her.
Okay, maybe he doesn't do that last part, but wouldn't that have been such a dark turn?
This pissed off every Metroid fan on the planet because the logic behind Samus getting PTSD is flawed since she's already fought Ridley a few times now.
But you see, the reason why she gets PTSD despite this fact is a very common problem, often attributed to bad screenwriting.
You see, this actually happened the first time Samus ran into Ridley as an adult on Zebes, and it didn't really help that he went into explicit detail on how he managed to survive by feeding on the rotting flesh of her mom and dad.
Look it up. I'll provide the link in the description. That is absolutely 110% true.
Samus, do you read me?
So then Adam runs off to save Samus, even though she's about a 20-minute walk and 15-minute elevator ride away.
You got no stop! I think I gotta teach you a lesson about subtlety!
Actually, I think that was the speech the voice actor gave to the screenwriters.
Coincidentally, his in-game character suffers the same fate as a result. Then Samus fights Ridley in a contrived, overhyped, shoehorned mess of a boss battle.
Moving on!
And Adam would already know about the deleter.
Wait, he would? So did what I say about the camera feed in their HUD actually come true magically over the course of the game? Ah, fuck it.
By the way, guys, the game is basically over at this point. Yeah, I hate to break it to you. The entire next part is literally just tracking a Federation soldier, whom we're supposed to think is Adam, across the station. There's this cool part in a gravity chamber where it reverses. Up is down is up. That's one of the very few things that I remember from this game. Oh yeah, then the console magically turns on and this woman from the ice sector somehow made it all the way to this sector without getting hurt or killed, and... Oh, wait, that door. Oh, that door. That's actually kind of cool how they set that up. I never noticed that before. That's actually kind of subtle. I like it. Yeah, I'll have to talk about that later.
So Madeline Bergman here explains that the Federation was trying to create a bioweapons program with the Zebesians, aka space pirates, as the center, but because of some sort of presence, the creatures went crazy and started killing everybody.
By a certain presence, she must have meant Ridley.
Can we talk for a minute about how the best music in the game is played during cutscenes when everybody's talking and we can't hear it?
The best music in the game is played during cutscenes when everybody's talking and we can't hear it. Yeah, that's actually the gist of what I wanted to say.
So this part is a little confusing as far as canon goes, because this game exists in some kind of weird limbo between universes. Its original goal of shedding more light on the series and universe was more counterproductive than anything. The theory is that the Zebesians, as we're calling them now, even though they're space pirates, need some sort of leadership in order to become intelligent and organized. So the logic in that is that without leadership, they just become feral. The thing about that is that Ridley isn't even the leader of the space pirates. Logbook entries throughout the Prime series refer to High Command. It was High Command who authorized Ridley's reconstruction and resurrection. Ridley is just a high-ranking official in the space pirate government, so to speak. I was always led to believe that the space pirates were a fairly disjointed and disorganized band of well-funded, well-trained, but ultimately bloodthirsty raiders who got off on capturing ships and generally making a mess of things. However, that was early in the history of the cosmos. Remember that Samus was only 3 when Ridley led the raid on K2L. He had his own ship. He's kind of like an admiral in a much bigger army, but other than that, the space pirate system has been years in the making and evolving. They're one of the most intelligent races in the galaxy, and that's because of years and years of evolution, like with any other race of people. But ultimately, they are a genetically hardwired subordinate species that naturally follows the orders of a strong master. Their hierarchical programming is decided at the genetic level. So constructing Ridley in the lab, along with the Zebesians in the lab, with the intention of creating an organization with the space pirates, is a bit hedonistic. That assumes that they only need to be alive in order to create this society, but they would need decades or even centuries of evolution in order to just grow to that point. They would also need exposure to other races, resources, and anything that a culture might have. Therefore, that would make the Galactic Federation's plan really fucking dumb!
I mean, really? Did they honestly think that all they had to do was just splice a few genes and then they would magically have the most perfect army imaginable? The philosopher John Locke believed that people are ultimately shaped by the world around them. It's the classic nature versus nurture philosophy. Are people born with the traits that they'll have for the rest of their life, or are they shaped as they lived? And the correct answer is, of course they're shaped. When you're a kid, you're fucking stupid. You're dumb, but you learn things as you progress. Let's say you have an identical twin. Now, for the most part, you have the same genetic makeup. So by that logic, you should be the same person. But anyone who has ever known twins knows that that's absolutely not true. What if one twin goes to public school and the other one goes to private? They'll probably end up different, at least in intellect, and I'm sure probably in social standing as well. What's this have to do with Metroid again? Oh yeah, space pirates. Space pirates! Fucking dumb. Stupid idea. They're supposed to be the top minds of the galaxy? Shit.
So what this game's main storyline entails is essentially just build up to getting Ridley back. Why?
Look, I love Ridley as much as the next guy. He's one of the first things you think of when you think of Metroid, and he's the quintessential nemesis of Samus, but does he really need to be in this game?
It's almost like this whole game was just designed as a big, huge, messy, contrived, poorly written fan service. They spend so much time setting up that little birdie is Ridley. It's the other biggest component to the entire plot. This doesn't need to happen. We don't need to have Ridley to have a Metroid game. They're not concordant. This makes me think back to that part of Metroid Fusion where Ridley's frozen in Sub-Zero for no apparent reason. He's just shoehorned in because, we gotta put him in the game. He's gotta be in there. No!
Ridley is not the be-all, end-all of Metroid bosses. Yes, he's a fan favorite, but if he's not in the game, then, in all honesty, the fans will get over it.
In Metroid Prime, Ridley oversees the operations on Talon 4. He's newly rebuilt and it's the first time we've seen him in 3D. That's fine. In Metroid Prime 3, Ridley continues work under Dark Samus's leadership. His appearance makes sense because this is a full-scale invasion of the Federation, so of course he'd be present for that.
He's missing from Metroid Prime 2. Did you notice? Did the game feel incomplete without him? No, it didn't, because he doesn't have to be there. Samus can only fight him however many times before you're eventually like, oh yeah, here comes Ridley again. Oh, I guess I'll fight him.
I think this is why I find Dark Samus to be such a good character, because she's someone with a clear, selfish intention and needs to remove Samus simply because she gets in her way and poses a threat. Dark Samus is someone different who can take on Samus. And she's a transgender. She used to be a genderless Metroid and then decided to eat up the DNA of Samus, a woman. Therefore, she is transgender by definition.
And anyone who thinks that me bringing that up is offensive is a fucking misogynist.